Hey guys, so over the weekend I got the opportunity to see Kimi no Nawa, or Your Name, which is of course the anime film taking the world by storm right now, and I thought it was a really great opportunity for me to talk about a non-Studio Ghibli anime film here on the channel, so that is what we're going to do today. I have some notes here, I have some thoughts, and let's just go ahead and get into it. So Kimi no Nawa was written and directed by Makoto Shinkai, who also wrote the novel which the film is based on. It was animated by Comics Wave Films and was released by the Japanese studio Toho, and fun fact, is actually the highest grossing film in Japan of all time. Actually, another fun fact, it is also the highest grossing anime film worldwide, taking the top spot from the one and only Spirited Away by Hayao Miyazaki. And I do want to give you guys a short plot summary, but I'm actually going to be intentionally vague and keep it really short because I feel like this is a film that I personally didn't know a whole lot about going into, and it was just so amazing and so much more than I was expecting. So I want to preserve that kind of surprise for you guys, and I'm just gonna keep it short and vague. Kimi no Nawa follows two high school students, the first of which is a girl named Mitsuha. Now Mitsuha lives in the countryside, mountainside town of Itomori, and she is the daughter of what I would call, I guess, the local Shinto shrine family. Basically, both her grandmother and her mother were shrine maidens, and then her father, who kind of married into the family, was formerly a Shinto priest, but has since left the priesthood with the death of his wife and has become a local politician. More specifically, he is the mayor of Itomori City. Between being a shrine maiden and being the daughter of the mayor who is running for re-election, Mitsuha is kind of over small town life. She realizes that just everybody knows everything about anyone, and she's just over it. She can't wait to graduate and move to Tokyo. And the other character that we follow in the film is a boy named Taki, who actually does live in Tokyo with his father in what I would call a pretty distinctly dysfunctional or disconnected household. They don't ever mention his mother, but at the beginning it seems that he lives alone with his father and that they're not the most in tune with each other. Like Mitsuha, Taki is a high school student and he has a part-time job as a waiter at a cafe, and along with all of his other male co-workers, he has a crush on the one female waitress who is a beautiful redhead named Miki. Now the reason we follow these two high school students is that they both have been having rather weird dreams lately, in which they seem to be having these really vivid dreams about other people's lives. However, they then learn from their friends that they have been acting rather strange and rather unlike themselves every second day or so, and they slowly come to realize that these aren't dreams at all, that they're actually switching bodies and switching lives every time they fall asleep. And of course there is a slight magical, realist, mythical element to this because everything that is going on is set against the backdrop of an approaching meteor that is supposed to come very close to Earth and give the people of Japan in particular a very good view of what they are expecting to be a very majestic and very beautiful sight. And I'm going to go ahead and leave the summary there because, like I said, this film is just so much more than it first appears to be, and I want to preserve the element of surprise for you guys as to what more it is, if that makes sense. Animation-wise, I think this film is absolutely stunning, and I can honestly say that I think it one-ups most Studio Ghibli films. Like, I'm gonna go so far as to say that because Studio Ghibli is kind of my anime baseline. The colors are super vibrant, they pop, the characters are all super well drawn and really distinctive, and I honestly have never seen a film, an animated film, with so much atmosphere. I mentioned this in, I believe, my Whisper of the Heart video, my Year of Miyazaki Whisper of the Heart video, where I talked about drawing the light in certain tones and kind of creating a wash of specific color over certain scenes to evoke time of day or to evoke temperature. And I think that's something that Kimi no Nawa does very well. I saw this with my brother, and afterwards we were joking that this was probably the film that made Miyazaki want to come out of retirement, because we all know that he is in love with depicting sky, that he is in love with depicting flying scenes, and he probably watched this and was like, okay, I gotta come out of retirement to defend my honor. I gotta one up these guys, because that was some killer sky animation. Honestly, there's this one scene where you're kind of from the comet's point of view, and you're getting this like really textured shot of the world coming up at you, and then clouds and air in your face, and it's really, really magical. The soundtrack is also completely breathtaking, and you can stream it on Spotify, so I will link that down below for you guys. But it's really this really interesting soundtrack that fits so well with the animation, fits so well with the plot, and somehow evokes in me this real deep nostalgic feeling, even though I only saw the film like 3 or 4 days ago. Plot-wise, I thought it was really far more complex than I was expecting. In this film, Shinkai has really revealed himself to be a master of emotional tension, and I will say that for the majority of the film, I had full head to toe, full body goosebumps, and that the last 30 minutes in particular are just this really heart-wrenching, tense, emotional roller coaster, and I'm still, yeah, I still haven't recovered. I think part of the reason this emotional tension is there, and part of the reason that the audience gets sucked so into the characters' lives, is that when Mitsuha and Taki switch lives and switch bodies, they really get in touch with each other's most deepest insecurities and fears, and they get to know each other, and therefore the audience gets to know both of them at this really core level, and I think it's a really effective technique for sucking the audience in. And although I'm making this sound like a very dramatic, very emotional film, which it is, there are also, of course, kind of some classic anime comedic moments, some kind of like absurd moments where, you know, the animation goes a little bit more cartoony, and there's a change of voice, and it's classic anime comedy done in the best of ways. I do want to jump into themes really quickly, though I do want to warn you guys that these will be spoiler containing themes, obviously. And the first one of those I want to talk about is just the whole idea of what would you do if you knew that a disaster was going to happen? I think this is a particularly relevant theme for people living in Japan, because obviously natural disasters are something that they deal with quite regularly, whether we're talking about the massive earthquake and tsunami from 2011, or we're talking about the Kumamoto quake from last year. I think this is something that, you know, a Japanese audience in particular might find really compelling. What would you do if you knew a disaster was going to happen? Would you save people? Would you be able to make people listen to you and see reason? And yeah, I thought that was a really interesting theme to explore. And of course, I think this is a really solid coming of age film, and when it comes to a film kind of about first love and about really connecting with somebody on a deeper level, Taki and Mitsuha, when they kind of develop this deep love and deep connection, it's really because they have gotten to know each other from the inside out, literally. And to offer kind of one last thought on the film, I would say definitely try and see this in the original Japanese with English subtitles. As I have expressed time and time again in my Year of Miyazaki videos, I prefer to watch the Japanese version of anime films or TV shows. I mean, they were meant to be consumed that way originally, and I feel like the humor comes across better. So those are my thoughts on Your Name or Kimi no Nawa, and I would love to hear what you guys think if you have gotten to see the film. I was so pleasantly surprised because I honestly didn't know what to expect. And I mean, if it was out longer, I would go see it again. And if you guys like this video and you would like me to watch more anime and talk about it here on the channel, please let me know. It always helps me know what you guys like to see. And if you really like this video and you'd like to consider supporting me, please go check out my Patreon page, which will be linked down in the description. But otherwise, that is all I have for today's video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Bye! Luckily,